A for Justin Watland as Lane Barrymore leads off the sixth inning with a strikeout.
And we were saying that, they're keeping track of how many pitches a pitcher throws. And if a pitcher's throwing 90, how many of them are strikes? Maybe if they were more strikes than balls, he may be still in the game because he wouldn't have 90. He might have had only 70.
First pitch is in for ball one against Luke Mangieri, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk thus far. After walking back in the second inning, he was part of a double play, though. Thinks about going around on a pitch here, and it stays high for ball two.
Right.
Do want to start taking a look through the Fox Sports WIFX Frontier League scoreboard. We'll start to go through that here in the next inning or so, spread out around the plays and batters. Watland kicks and delivers on a 2-0. Falls
strike.
in. I thought it fell in for a called strike, but it is left alone. Stayed a bit low for ball three. In the top of the eighth, Empire State and New York are tied at 2 runs apiece. Now heading to the bottom of the eighth there. A 3-0 is falling into the zone for strike one. 3-1 the count.
Now, that was not an automatic strike. That was a strike. A lot of times an umpire gives the break to the pitcher.
Nobody on, 1 out, and it's a 3-1 count to Luke Mangieri. Kick and delivery from Watland. Lifted high towards shallow left center field. Khalil readies himself underneath it and brings it in for out number 2. In the top of the seventh, north of the border, the Tri-City Valley Cats hold a 2-1 lead at Trois-Rivières. Ottawa on the road at New Jersey, and they only lead 4-3 in the seventh. That's an Ottawa team that really struggled last week. They got swept by Sussex County at home. Speaking of Sussex County, at the top of the seventh, they trail Quebec 1-0. That does it for all of the East Division action this evening. First pitch to Kyle Jacobson. Works high and inside for ball one.
Now, the Otters are going to New Jersey for one of the teams. You've got Essex County and you've got
New Jersey.
New Jersey,
yeah. Sussex County, the Otters will head there right after the All-Star break.
Okay, and that'd be interesting because I don't know where they play. I know New Jersey. I covered enough baseball games in New Jersey but I don't know where Sussex County plays.
1-1 and a swinging strike two has Jacobson down in the count 1-2. We'll quickly look through the 4 games in the West Division. Obviously, you know about ours. 2-0 in favor of Evansville. Washington and Florence tied at 1 run apiece in the bottom of the 7th. Schaumburg holds a 3-0 lead at Lake Erie in the 7th. Windy City holds a 1-0 lead against Gateway in the 5th. The 1-2 misses at the elbows. Count evens up at 2-2.
That could have been strike 3. This umpire squeezes that strike zone. I'll say that. Now, I know New Jersey plays at Montclair at the Yogi Berra Stadium.
Yeah, that's where the Jackals play. Yeah. I believe that Sussex County actually plays in the small Sussex County township.
Oh.
Yeah, they play in the Augusta section of Frankford Township in Sussex County, New Jersey. Tiny little township that they actually play in.
Yeah.
But they get good reception of the team by the people in the area as a full pitch count heads home to Jacobson, and he'll walk on the play. A 2-out walk.
Left fielder, number 33.
Tell you what, the Florence-Washington score tied at 1 run apiece in the 7th. That one intrigues me. Florence has won their last 5 series and is starting to put a ton of good baseball together. If Florence can beat Washington, the West top team right now in this series, the Y'alls really need to be worried about, and it just further makes you worry about every team in this West Division. Zoomer down the right field line actually hits the umpire down there. Marvin King. Is the ball fair? Is the ball foul? We never got an official announcement. Now, Marvin King, the first base umpire, is saying he put his arms up as if it was foul.
Well, if it hit him, it's a dead ball. So the runner, the batter gets a base hit, and the runner goes to second.
It sounded like the initial play hit him out of play, and it never hit inbounds beforehand, so it's going to be a foul ball.
Okay.
And it does look like Marvin King down there has a big smile on his face, which is good to see after a play like that. So,
You know, the funny thing is, if the batted ball hits the runner going to second base, the runner is out, but the batter gets first. And so it's, well, anyway. In the other case, it hits the umpire, it's a dead ball.
1-1 count to Dave Matthews.
Ooh.
Hefty swing, and he got absolutely killed on that off speed.
74 miles an hour, and he was 2 blocks down the street from the bus.
Now, a lot of these games run kind of intertwined in my mind sometime, but I don't remember a game that Justin Watland changed the speed up this much, this dramatically in a game. 1-2 is lifted towards center field. The bat goes flying towards first. Khalil will step back, make the catch for the final out of the inning. And after the top of the 6th, Otters still lead this one 2-0 here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. And we are set for the bottom of the 6th inning here on the Otters Digital Network. Another great performance from Watland, giving up a runner with 2 outs, but bouncing back, picking up the out on the very next batter, and keeping himself in a great place in this ballgame.
Well, it's a great game to watch. The Otters may be winning 2-0, but overall, the Joliet team is putting a fight out there.
And I tell you what, after watching these games on the road, this last road trip, this is where I started to get the knot in my stomach, because this is where we saw the Otters drop ball games this week. Having a lead that was a small amount going into the back half, and then just kind of
letting the air out of the balloon.
Yeah, I don't want to say coasting, but it almost seems like they run out of air. Yeah. Well, it's a 1-1 count to Zach Bierman, who's leading off the inning for the Otters. If there's anyone that can change a game with one swing of the bat, Zach Bierman's the man to look at. Ooh, there, another tough pitch from Turner Larkins has Bierman a bit hung out to dry, and he's looking at a 1-2 count now.
Well, wasn't it one of those great philosophers of our time, Yogi Berra, who said,
Bierman zooms one out towards right. Oh, and it just stays close enough to Barrymore to go over and bring it in. I tell you, if Barrymore was not set up that far right, would have been a base hit for Bierman. Instead, it's the second time tonight he's had solid contact, but ended with an out.
Right. But Yogi Berra, the great philosopher of yesteryear, said, the game is not over until the fat lady sings. So, to coast when you're ahead is not the right thing. Bring the sails down.
First pitch for Jeffrey Baez, and he zings one to the left side through for a base hit. And it's his first base hit of the game. tell you what, he turned on that, turned the hips well, and zoomed that one to the left.
You hit the nail on the head when you said he turned his hips. That's one of the things he has to do more.
Because he's got so much muscle to him that all he's got to do is turn with that bat, and the bat's going to follow.
Exactly.
Well, you know, the last time Steven Sinsley was at the plate, the game changed a bit. A 2-run home run. He's there once again now. Lifts one high and foul behind home plate. It's going to get out of play. And he lasered one to right field. I believe I heard that it came off the bat at 107 mile an hour. He really zinged it out towards right field. 0-1 count for Steven Sinsley. He's got Jeffrey Baez over there on first. There goes Baez to second, and it's another stolen base for the big man. That will make it 239 in the career.
The funny part is the catcher made no attempt to throw it at all because he knew what's the sense of throwing? He's already on second.
Yeah, Baez had a great jump there. Now there's a runner on second, 1-1 count with one out to Steven Sinsley. The 1-1 headed his way, stays low, and it's a 2-1 count now. That's one of the things Steven Sinsley has done very well in the last 2-3 weeks of. That's just staying patient at the plate, making sure that every pitcher he faces has to come to him. That's why he's picked up multiple walks in multiple games in the last week and a half. 2-1 the counts. Baez at second, one out. 2-1 to Sinsley, works way inside. He turns away from it for ball 3. Due up next for the Otters would be J.R. Davis and Dakota Phillips if they're needed. Turner Larkins trying to keep his slammers close in this game. The 3-1 to Steven Sinsley. On the way now, and he steps off. Did they call a balk? No, there must have been time called. Someone must have called time. I didn't see where they actually pointed. Must have been behind home plate since Larkins started his motion. The count remains at 3 balls, 1 strike. Huge gap to that left side. The 3-1. Swinging strike 2. Sinsley had the eyes filled with glory on that swing. We'll have to regroup. This is where Sinsley has succeeded a lot this year, though. Sending a full count. He does get a little picky sometimes with this pitch. Otter faithful trying to get behind him. Full count. Runner at second, 1 out. Otters lead by a pair, and time is called by Sinsley at the plate.
See, now that's proper. He called before the pitcher was ready to throw. That's all right. But when the pitcher is already rocketing and going toward home, an umpire shouldn't call timeout.
Payoff pitch from Turner Larkins. On the way now. And it's fouled back towards the netting. Sinsley will live to see another pitch.
And Baez should score easily if it's a base hit because he is getting a big jump at second base.
We actually saw on the road trip a couple of teams try to pick off Baez at second. And you could tell it frustrated Baez, but on the bright side, it worked on his feet. And it made him get a little bit better at zooming back to second. Now he feels confident taking this big lead. Ball sent chopping to the right side. Holzwasser will play it on 2 hops.
A dead ball, foul ball off his leg or what?
No, I think he just slipped as he was leaving the box. It's a ground out for him.
Okay.
He just didn't make it out of the box. It's a 4-3 fielder's choice that the runner will advance to third on. So that will bring up the second baseman, J.R. Davis, with a runner on third and 2 outs. Can't score him on the fly ball, but as long as he drops something out there, he'll score very easily.
Well, there's always a possibility of wild pitch, pass ball, or an error in the infield. Who knows? Every ground ball is not an automatic out.
First pitch home.
That's a strike.
Catches the high outside corner for a called strike one.
You know, I used to always preach about a batter swinging. You stand a 50-50 chance of hitting it. And if you hit a ground ball, it's a 50-50 chance the infielder's going to field it. So even if he fields it,
0-1 to Davis. Zoom
That's
down the
down the
left
line.
field line. Down for a base hit.
double.
A run will score. There goes JR towards second. The throw out there is not in time. And it is an RBI double for J.R. Davis. Otters lead by 3.
How many times you mentioned earlier that Davis got those? No, I'm sorry. I'm getting mixed up. Sorry. Retract. I'm getting my players mixed up between Gordon and Davis. So, as they say in the court of law, strike that last remark.
I'll tell you
Anyway,
what, this is the first game I can think of all year that the Otters have sent 2 down the base or 3 down the baselines, just calmly pulling the ball down the baseline and dropping it down for extra bases.
Well, that's what happens when you turn your wrist and you make good contact and you snap that ball, that wrist.
It's 4 doubles for the Otters now in the game.
Yeah.
Dakota Phillips at the plate now, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, certainly looking to turn his day around. He's got J.R. Davis out there at second. Quick legs of Davis. All he has to do is put something in the outfield and he'll likely score.
Well, Phelps likes to hit the left center. He's got a nice big gap out there. Hit one where it says Richie sign.
The 1-0 count is swung on and missed for strike one. And when he is able to make contact and put something in play, so often now they're going to the right side that teams are playing such a heavy shift against him. If he just calmly puts something to the left side, almost always he could get a base hit now.
In other words, cut down on the swing and just slap at the ball. Yeah.
1-1 the count for Phillips. Zoom down the right field line, but it is just foul.
Right. See, now that was a high pitch. Dakota likes those high pitches, and he gets around pretty good.
2 outs, runner on second, a 1-2 count to Dakota Phillips. Big pitch here. The 1-2 towards Dakota Phillips. Drops low for ball 2, and the count evens up.
Well, we got 2 outs, 2 strikes, 2 balls. And the runner's on second, so that's 4 of a kind. Can't beat that with a full house.
2-2 to Dakota Phillips. Pitch is on the way. It's lifted out towards left field. Shallow left field. Rushing in is Matthews, and he'll make the catch for the 3rd out. Not before the Otters can score one more on a RBI double from J.R. Davis. After 6 innings, it's Evansville 3, Joliet 0. We've got a great ball game on our hands here from Evansville. And we head to the top of the 7th inning. Justin Watland returns to the mound for the Otters. He's been impressive in this game. Despite giving up a couple of tough base runners here or there, he's worked around them well, utilized the strikeout to his advantage, and in fact, he has tied his season high in strikeouts, looking for one more to get to double digits. A little bit of a wait here for Carson Maxwell to get into the box. Maxwell is 0 for 2 with a flyout and a pop out thus far. First pitch is not quite headed his way, and now it's on the way from Justin Watland. High inside, ball 1. And that time is when one of the times we saw Watland still pitch out of the windup, but he took a very slow step back. He decided to change things up a little bit.
And I think that was a breaking pitch. It just didn't break, but after all, he's throwing strikes, and that is what counts. You said more than half of his pitches have been strikes. That is an accomplishment.
You'll take that any day of the week.
Right.
1-1 count to Carson Maxwell, who steps back in the box. And Watland will deliver. Oh, nice pitch on the low edge, and he gets a called strike. That's a called strike we haven't seen all night.
I was going to say, that's why I was surprised. I think, oh my God, this umpire changed.
And Watland's a pitch away from double digits of Ks. See him shake off one pitch. Now he'll send home the 1-2. Low outside actually bounces in. The count evens up at 2-2. Add just a little height to that, and a lot of righties are going to chase it.
Well, I think that was the wrong pitch, to be honest with you, because it looked like he tried to overpower it and looking for that strikeout. Whereas, again, if probably off-speed curveball, he probably would have had him looking.
2-2 the count. Watland will send it home. It's a swinging strike 3, and he's got double-digit strikeouts for the first time this year. German-American Bank strikeout.
Well, now you've watched every game, actually. How many of our starting pitchers have thrown 10 strikeouts or more?
He's the third different one, and it's the fourth different game.
Right.
Holgrafer had 1, Brahms has 2, and now Watland has 1.
And they're all starting pitchers, and they're all doing well. They may not have good records, but as far as throwing a good game, you don't have to be a winner or loser to throw a good game, as you saw the other day with Barron. What was it? The 13 strikeouts.
Oh, Brahms.
Brahms, yeah.
Well, and let's put it this way. Justin Watland's a 1-3 official record this year. That does not tell you the kind of pitcher that Justin Watland is.
That's what I'm trying
He
to
is
say.
a strikeout artist, a guy who can go long into games, that is being defined off of 2 really tough games for him this year.
Yeah.
And as you're seeing now tonight, finally a game where he is dictating play well.
Yeah, right there, he just threw a nice slider. And I mean, it went right over the plate. He missed it. He's been in command.
He's over 100 pitches and doesn't look like he's thrown over 10.
Oh, he has over 100 pitches?
Yeah, he's at 107 now after that last one.
And we're in, what, the 7th inning?
Yeah.
And nobody's warming up for the Otters, I hope.
Not yet.
Okay.
Neither team, actually.
Well,
good pitchers do on this one.
I don't care if
2-2, a swinging strike 3, make it 11 Ks for Justin Watland. German-American Bank strikeout for number 2 of the inning and number 11 on the day. He looks like he just started the game.
Well, I'm hoping that someone doesn't say, oh, wait a minute, he's got 100 pitches. We got to get him out of there. I don't care if he throws 130 pitches. You watched high school baseball, and you've announced.
Ball hustled out to right center field. McNamee chasing back towards it, but it's Gordon who makes the play. I tell you what, there's a reason those two are roommates on the road. There's a reason those two are so close together, and it's because they make communication on the fly like that. Gordon makes the play there, and the inning ends. Once again, a 3-up, 3-down inning. We head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Otters lead by 3. Well, we're ready for the bottom half of the 7th inning here. And just as expected, we're going to see a couple of starting pitchers work well into this game, as both have been consistent, both have been hitting the strike zone, both have played decent games. I tell you what, the one that we really haven't talked enough about, maybe because he hasn't got all the strikeouts, is Turner Larkins here on the mound. He's only at 84 pitches. Though he's given up a couple of runs, he's really limited the Otters' long at-bats.
He's brought 5, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, so far on the day, he's managed to pick up 5.
5 strikeouts.
Elijah McNamee will kick off this 7th inning. He's 1 for 2 with a double and a ground out so far. Starts off here with a ball outside for ball 1. Big hit Mac. Already has 1 big double in the game. Looking for a second here. The 1-0. Way outside. 2-0 the count. Now the Otters get a man up. It looks like Tyler Spring out there throwing. Actually, no, it's Augie Gallardo starting to throw.
Gallardo.
The 2-0 to McNamee. Just catches his own. A late called strike 1. Counts at 2-1.
Yeah, he's only pitched 18 innings, yeah.
Just under 4, yeah.
I'm sorry.
He was signed right there before the team headed on the last road trip, coming back for another year here with Evansville. And it looked like maybe there was a bit of a false start on his reintegration into professional baseball. Maybe needed an extra week to get himself back into form. But he does seem to seems to be now starting to fall into that professional baseball setup role. The expectation, it sounds like, is that they want Gallardo to kind of fall into Joe Riley's setup role. McNamee chases a pitch low and outside on a drop third strike that is thrown down to first. It's the first strikeout of the day for Elijah McNamee, the 6th of the game for Turner Larkins.
The catcher, number 5, Justin Felix.
Now, of course, you and I are up here, they're down there. I'd like to see Justin Watland start this next half inning. And if a second guy gets on, then go ahead and bring Gallardo on. But, even though his pitch count's up there, that last half inning he made look very easy. Why not give him another try?
I'm agreeing with you. And I'm saying this. I agree with you 100%. And if he walks the first batter or the second batter, whatever the case, have someone get up and just loosen up. You don't need to bring him in. Just have him ready.
Well, I think that's the thing now is they're having Gallardo get ready out there just in case.
Right. That's all you want.
Bring Watland in, and if things aren't going perfect, have the guy come in.
Exactly.
Better to bring him in a couple of pitches too early rather than a couple pitches too late.
Oh, my.
And that seemed to be what happened to Parker Brahms back there at the beginning of the road trip is they maybe tried to stick him out there one batter too long. A couple extra guys got on, and he got credited with a lot of runs in the end of it.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head in what you just said. That's true. And you got to know when to yank a guy. I mean, if it means you're going to lose the ranch, hey, get him out of there. Don't say, well, give him another try. I was a catcher in my playing days.
0-2 to Felix. Able to get by for ball 1.
And I can't tell you how many times the manager came out to the pitcher, and the first thing he would say is, "How do you feel?" "I'm okay, Skip. I'm okay." "All right," and then walk away. Instead of saying to the catcher, "What's he doing? Has he still got it?" And if I was asked, I'd say, "Hey, yank him."
The 1-2 stays high for ball 2.
Who knows better than the catcher whether the pitcher is being as effective in the 7th inning as he was in the first?
And, there's the part of me that understands you want to limit the work you put on your bullpen, especially with the Otters bullpen struggling on the road trip. But if you can get 7 full innings out of your starter, you got to be happy with that any night of the week. 2-2, and Felix is caught swinging hefty at it. He'll sit down with his second strikeout of the day. It's the 7th of the day for Turner Larkins. That'll bring up the shortstop, George Khalil, who had an unlucky line out his first time up. Struck the ball very well, but it just curved a bit too far.
Yeah. Now, you go back to your younger days in high school and college, there weren't too many coaches counting pitches. The guy's doing well out there. Hey, go 9, go 7, whatever.
Big swing from Khalil, but the pitch is low and away from him for strike one.
You know, the greatest example, and I'm praising my brother in the World Series of 2003 against the Yankees when he brought back the starting pitcher that only had 3 days rest and had thrown. He was in like 130 pitches, and they're saying, "Why don't you take him out?" Well, he ended up winning the game with maybe 140 pitches.
1-1 the count to George Khalil. Lets the pitch stay high, and he's ahead in the count 2-1.
That's why my brother will be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Major League 100,000 Major League wins and 1,000 minor league wins. No other Major League manager's ever done that. 1,000 wins in both the majors and the minors.
Count evens at 2-2 after the chopping foul ball to the right side. This is where Khalil will have to defend a little bit.
Yeah, just slap at the ball. Don't overpower. Just make contact. Be defensive.
Time is called by the catcher, Gomez.
That's
Wide open stance up there on the mound by Trevor Larkin.
As you say, he deserves a lot of credit.
The 2-2. Swinging strike three. Khalil upset that he chased that one too much. And we head to the 8th inning. Otters still lead by a trio. We'll let you know if we see a pitching change or not right after this on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. And we've got a pitching change now as we head to the top half of the 8th inning. Augie Gallardo will get the nod out of the bullpen for the Otters. 6-0, 195 up there on the mound. Here in his second year with the Otters. Just rejoined the team last week. Still searching to really find his groove. See if it can be tonight. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. And it's Gallardo on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Gallardo will be making his first appearance since Sunday. Yes, Sunday, just a couple days ago. Gave up no runs on no hits in his 1 1/3 inning of work against Lake Erie on Sunday. He appeared 2 other times, both of those in the Florence series. He gave up runs in both of those opportunities. Taking his time getting back to the mound is Augie Gallardo. And he's finally ready to go. He'll be facing at the plate Scott Holzwasser, who is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a walk so far. First pitch, low and outside, ball 1 from Augie. Tell you what, this is one of the most animated crowds I feel like we've had all year.
Yes, and it's a good crowd.
On a Tuesday night, too. Good to see.
Well, it's Taco Tuesday.
You know, that makes a big
You're
difference.
darn right it does, because we got the Taco Man back.
Yes, indeed. Rally Tacos made another appearance. Also, a new taco has entered the
Menu?
menu this year. A Supreme taco has onions, tomatoes, cilantro, lime, all sorts of stuff on there.
Really? I'll have to try one of those.
They tried it out over the road trip to see if it was going to work, and they soft released it tonight. Sounds like it's going well. So
Wow.
that'll have to be on the menu for next week.
Yes, I'll have to put in an order.
2-1 the count to Scott Holzwasser. Pitch on his way. Ooh, big curveball, but it didn't quite make it to the. It seemed like Felix tried to reach his arm way out there to keep it in the zone and didn't get it called.
Yeah, it curved over or around the plate, but not over the plate.
So 3-1's the count. On the way for Augie. That one got a little bit opposite movement and stayed low and away. It's a leadoff walk for Holzwasser, his second of the game.
Yeah, he's got 2 walks and 2 strikeouts.
It'll bring up the right fielder, Matt McGarry, who's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a fielder's choice. After reaching on the fielder's choice, he was stranded at third.
You know, I'm going to change the subject for a second. These young ball players on the Otters, their mothers and fathers travel hundreds and thousands of miles to come and watch their son play here in Evansville, in Otterville, Bossy Field. And those fans out there listening to us here, if I may say so, Matthew. Matthew's mother and father had just arrived and are here now, so they are going to watch their son on the radio as well. So, Matthew, I hope your mother and father enjoy their stay here in Evansville.
Yeah, it's exciting to have him here for a couple of nights, and kind of makes the last couple of months a little more worth it to get to see some friendly faces. It's flown by in these next first couple of months.
Well, I'm going to say something. I think you should take them out to dinner.
Well, the throw over to first is close, but not in time to snag Scott Holzwasser over there. 0-2 the count towards McGarry. Pitch on the way from Gallardo. Bounces away. It's going to get away from Felix, and the runner is going to advance to second.
You know, we're in a situation we can't play games right now. He walked the first batter. We've got a runner now, went to second. We're only 3 runs up. That could be easily erased with one swing of the bat.
The Otters are far too familiar with that phenomenon from just this last week. 1-2 count to Matt McGarry. This is one that really Gallardo has got to get right now. Absolutely needs a strikeout here. The 1-2. Push to the right side, picked up by Bierman. He'll step on first himself for the first out, but the runner advances to third.
And that was an odd swing, and the way it went down to first base. I mean,
on the curve the ball came to the plate with, it took off towards the opposite batter's box and then curved back in the back door.
Exactly.
So the amount of spin he had on it mixed with the way that it hit the bat, it just spun down that first base line. Lane Barrymore heads to the plate now. Barrymore on the day is 1 for 2. Starts off with the ball 1 outside.
I'm going to say this so far, and you could give me your opinion because I'm going to give you mine. Augie's curveball has got good bite to it, but it's breaking too far in advance, and it's a ball.
1-0 towards Barrymore.
Yeah.
Breaks towards the outside edge. He was gifted a called strike there. That one looked pretty outside.
Yeah, and that one had enough carry to go across the plate instead of before the plate.
Counts evened up at a ball and a strike for Lane Barrymore. Gallardo sends it home. Again with the curveball, gets a swinging strike there. .76, slowed it way down there.
Yep. Now it's going to be what pitch is he going to throw? He's got a 1-ball, 2-strike count. He can play with 1 or 2 pitches.
The 1-2 works way outside. He swings at it. The run's going to try to go home to throw at the plate. Oh, and it gets out of the glove of Gallardo, and the runner is going to make it to first.
Is that an error?
So a tough one there as the drop third strike gets away from Felix, and the runner scores on a drop third strike wild pitch. And just like that, the Slammers are on the board in the in the strangest way possible.
Yes, it's a strikeout and a wild pitch, and a runner scores.
And now there's a new runner at first.
Yep.
Didn't even get the out. First pitch is a called strike on the inside edge. Rally Taco trying to keep the Evansville faithful behind the Otters. 0-1 the count to Lookman Jerry, who so far on the day is 0 for 2, a walk, pop out, and a strikeout. Another curveball stays way inside. 1-1 the count. Gallardo taking his time up there on the mound. 1-1 count. No look at first. Pitch carves the inside edge, but it stays a bit too far inside, and it's a 2-1 count.
See, now here, in my opinion, is when someone should be warming up. Have him ready in case you need him.
2-1 count to Mangieri. There goes the runner to second. Ball is blasted towards the right side, but well foul.
And that was a break for the Otters. That runner was on second base before that fly ball ever hit the ground.
That runner might have beat the throw to third. I mean, he really had a good jump.
Oh, yeah, he was dancing, and the pitcher was still holding the ball. That's when you step off. Well, anyway.
2-2 is the count towards Luke Mangieri. Gallardo with a glance over towards first. And time is called at the plate. Readying himself is Mangieri at the plate. There's a runner on first with 1 out. The 2-2 breaks too far inside, hits Mangieri, and there's runners on first and second.
Okay, here's where it's timeout. Go talk to him. Felix, if Max don't do it, at least Felix, you go out. I mean, here, we've given up 1 run already.
And just like that, Jake Polancic will hop up, start to throw. Max Peterson will go out and have a chat with Gallardo.
And, yeah.
And the entire infield will come in to help buy some time. Well, you just feel for Justin Watland because you're just hoping the same thing that happened to Parker Brahms doesn't happen to him. Pitched a master class this evening, and it would be heartbreaking to see him not get the win.
You're right. Excuse me. Heartbreaking for the Otters because then they'll be fighting to stay in second place. If the playoffs were today, you said second place plays
third place in a 1-game playoff.
In a 1 game. So you lose. A whole season is wasted. But if you're in first place, you got the bye.
And you play that 1-game playoff winner in a 3-game set.
Right.
Kyle Jacobson at the plate now. Center fielder is 0 for 1 with a grounded to double play in the second, and then 2 walks. He starts off this count with a ball 1. What a tough situation to put Polancic into if he's called upon after a potential walk here. Bases loaded, 1 out. That's a tough place for him to be.
Right. And the shortstop is playing a little toward third over.
1-0 stays outside. It's a 2-0 count.
Now, you said earlier when I brought that to your attention, you said the coaches or somebody in the dugout waved him over to play more toward third. That's a big gap up the middle, and you're just eliminated more or less double play.
2-0 is the count to Kyle Jacobson. There's runners on first and second with one out here in the top of the eighth. Hefty pitch there that broke towards the inside edge. 2-1 the count. Even his fastball at 88 has spinning movement towards the inside. So the count advances to 2-1.
We need a big out.
Otters lead by 2 still. That lead is not safe. The 2-1 stays high, and it's a 3-1 count. And Gallardo is one pitch away from potentially putting the go-ahead run on first.
Yeah, tying runners on bases already. You can't, this is no time to be playing games.
There's a pitcher warming up for Joliet as well out left. A 3-1 swung on and fouled into the glove of Felix, and the count is full.
And the Otters have someone warming up right now?
Yeah, both teams do now.
I know you just mentioned Joliet. I just wondered if we still had someone.
Well, this might be one of the biggest pitches that Gallardo's thrown since rejoining the Otters last week.
Yeah.
The 3-2 to Jacobson. Called strike 3. That is a big German-American Bank strikeout for Augie Gallardo. The first of his day, and more importantly, there's 2 outs on the board.
And did you notice the batter? A pitch come right down the middle, and he threw the bat over to the dugout and was ready to take first base. My God, you couldn't have asked for a better strike. And this guy thinks it's a ball. That's why it's a called strike 3.
Well, one of the warm-up throws from that pitcher out there in left ends up in left field. Bios goes to recover it, and we have time for a while.
Yeah, so Augie, that is a big, big, big strikeout. You're right.
So 2 outs, a 0-0 count against Dave Matthews. Oh, man, that curveball dove into the zone.
You're right. You know, let's go back and say, are we second guessing when we said Justin maybe deserved another shot at pitching another inning?
Yakertek said that last pitch had 20 inches of horizontal break. As a pitch almost just like it apparently misses, and the count evens up at 1-1.
You know, like Ted Williams said, you got to swing the bat at a 180-degree angle because the pitcher's throwing at a 180-degree angle. What you just told me about the break with such and such, I don't understand any of that stuff. All I know is it was good.
The 1-1 swung on, and the crowd here at Bosse Field really getting behind Augie Gallardo.
Yeah. Where's secret weapon when you need him?
Well, while the Otters don't have secret weapon tonight, they do have Rally Taco, who's done his best to be a small piece of
really?
what secret weapon brings to the ballpark.
Oh, so Taco Joe is performing. Oh, there he is there. He's exciting the crowd.
1-2 count for Dave Matthews. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Augie Gallardo trying to go back-to-back Ks. Swinging strike 3, and he does. Huge couple of German-American Bank strikeouts. And Augie Gallardo puts his hand to his ear and asks the crowd to make some noise as he exits the field. Otters still lead by 2 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. What a game we have here from Bosse. Don't go anywhere. Bottom of the 8th coming at you next. And as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, a pitching change for Joliet. They will call upon Chandler Brierly, the 6'8", 220-pound second-year rookie, will head onto the mound. Tell you what, there is one thing I can promise you about guys who stand 6'6" or taller on the mound, and that's that they can throw hard.
I would hope so, because they got a more of a extension.
Well, this call to the bullpen is presented by Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It's Brierly on the mound. Gomez behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Out in the right field bullpen, does look like Logan Sawyer is going to start to warm up to come in and potentially earn a close. It would be his first save opportunity in over 10 games now. Chandler Brierly finishing his warm-ups. As I've watched through his warm-up pitches thus far, he has worked pretty much everywhere from the mid-70s to mid-90s. So he's got a lot of range up there on the mounds. And he's not a right-over-the-top pitcher. He does have like a maybe three-quarter release up there on the 45-degree angle.
Low three-quarter.
Well, the last warm-up pitch has been thrown. We're ready to go. It's the top of the order for the Otters that will head to the plate. Edward Jones, leadoff batter of the game, Miles Gordon, Zach Bierman, and Jeffrey Baez. Miles Gordon is still looking for his first base hit of the game. Has a couple of groundouts in his last couple at-bats. Gordon at the plate, ready for the lefty-lefty matchup between Brierly and himself. First pitch crosses the body, and it's a called strike one.
And what is that, 88?
90 even.
I was going to say 91, and then I thought it was 88, but 90, yeah, okay. That had a little mustard on it, that's why.
Absolutely. The 0-1. He slows that one down a bit, and Gordon's able to just keep himself alive in the count.
It looked like he dropped that arm down a little, too.
Well, he dropped it from 90 down to 83.
Yeah.
But it looked almost like the same pitch.
I know it did, yeah.
That can be dangerous. 0-2 the count to Miles Gordon. Brierly will fire. And it's fouled between the legs of the catcher Gomez. And Gordon will keep himself alive in the count.
I bet if he threw a curveball at Gordon and it floated across the plate, it would be around, I'm going to say 81.
0-2 the count towards Gordon. And he takes a ball on the outside edge. That did not miss by too much.
No, and that was, well, again, I guess I'm getting a 70-something back when the catcher's throwing back to the pitcher. That's where the 70's coming.
1-2 to Miles Gordon. He extends the hands. Did he go through? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
And it's a strikeout for Miles Gordon, his second of the day. The first of the game for Chandler Brierly.
I know if I was the umpire, I'd have to rule that was a strikeout too.
Yeah, he certainly did go all the way around. Zach Bierman heads to the plate, but here as this inning started, Andy Armstrong and Anthony Torrelas are now down in the bullpen throwing back and forth. So I wonder if we're going to see a defensive change.
Where would that be?
It's possible they want Torrelas at third because of his quick feet over there in the hot corner. He played a good third base earlier this week. Maybe they had J.R. Davis and Dakota Phillips in the game for their hitting abilities first, their defensive secondary, and maybe they want to put some true defenders in there in the ninth inning.
Well, I'll tell you what, you call a good game, and I'm going to go along with your theory. So we do need defense in the last inning. Yes.
And I'll say I've been incredibly pleased with Anthony Torrelas at third. On this road trip, really proved himself as a strong third baseman. Has good range over there, has a really solid arm.
Didn't he get a home run on the
He
road
did.
trip too? Yeah, I thought so.
In his second ever professional game.
Okay.
Bierman's looking at a 1-2 count. Bierman trying to find some success, lefty versus lefty here.
Well, you know, if he's such a good third baseman, and again, I think I saw him play, 1 or 2 innings here.
A 1-2 swinging strike 3 for Bierman, and it's back-to-back Ks for Brierly.
If he was to play third, what do you do with Phillips? If Bierman's got first, Felix has got the catching. What do you do with Phillips?
Well, it's possible that they are making a play or making a change that is 100% defensive-minded in the thing of we're going to make this defensive sub in order to make sure we don't have to bat again, so that they don't have to worry about having the bats of Phillips and Davis out there.
Okay.
This could be a truly defensive move just to get 2 good defenders out there.
So, in other words, he'd be a utility man rather than
Yeah, well,
baseman.
You're going to bring Torrellis and you're going to bring Armstrong in, and neither of them are coming in to be batters. They are truly coming in to be defenders in this situation.
Right. I mean, Armstrong's a good defensive infielder. I'll say that. Right?
I'm fully expecting to see Armstrong at second, Torrellis at third to start this 9th now.
Oh.
Davis zooms one out towards center field. Jacobson breaks in, then breaks out, and then makes a catch over the shoulder. That's how the bottom of the 8th ends. 3 up, 3 down. We head to the top of the 9th. Right after this, the greatest closer in the Frontier League, Logan Sawyer, is headed into the game. We've got the conclusion of this one right after this on the Otters Digital Network. Top of the 9th, Otters lead by 2. We've got a couple of changes, but first, Frontier League Baseball on Flow Sports is presented by Bud Light. Let's introduce you to the changes. First, we've got a call to the bullpen presented by Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. That's Logan Sawyer up on the mound. I called him the Frontier League's top closer. That's because he's got 10 saves on the year. No blown saves. 10 of 10. You know, he throws hard, he throws accurately, and he makes it very difficult for guys around him to get on base and come around to score.
I'm going to question what you just said. I'm not going to disagree. I'm questioning you. The other night when he came in, and the other broadcaster for the home team kept saying, "Oh, here he comes, the leading savior." He hasn't given up a run. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when he pitched last year, he gave up the first run. So that broadcaster was wrong.
He hasn't given up any runs credited to him yet until that game. The rest, he inherited runners, and those are the runs he allowed.
Okay. So I'm wrong in what I'm thinking. Okay.
First pitch is a swinging strike 1, high and inside, 94. Here's a couple of defensive changes. Anthony Torrellis is coming into the game to play third. Andy Armstrong is coming into the game to play second. This is purely a put the best defenders on the field scenario. I like that move.
Well, I've always said Armstrong's the best defensive infielder we got.
The 0-1. Maxwell lifts it out towards center field. Gordon doesn't have to go too far, a few steps to his left side, and it's out number 1.
Armstrong's got the arm. He's got the range. And I think he's the best bunter on the team. His bat may be a little weak, but he's a defensive infielder. And as we know, the game was made up of defense for center, second, short, and catching. You could be batting 200, but you're in the lineup because of your defense.
Justin Gomez, the catcher, now at the plate. First pitch he sees is a called strike one on the high inside corner. 95-mile-an-hour. Sawyer once again proving he can throw hard and he can throw accurate.
Well, strikes, right. That's what counts. You can't be a reliever unless you throw strikes. And that's coming from Bob Botts, a former major leaguer.
The man from Knoxville, Tennessee, fires home on the 0-1. It's fouled back into the netting, and he's up 0-2 in the count. Boy, would this feel good for the Otters. A rough road trip, come back home, win game one of the series, put yourself on the right foot.
Well, pushes them a game or half a game ahead of Joliet. As far as right now, it's what, 1.5?
Yeah, currently the Otters lead by 2 full games
so
over
it'd be
Joliet.
2.5 then, if they were to win.
The 0-2, high outside, ball 1.
No, it'd be 3.
Should be, yeah, right at 3. Yeah, full game.
Full game, yeah.
Washington did defeat Florence 2-1 tonight. That's a much closer game than a lot of people might have expected it to be. So Washington will retain the 2.5 game lead they have over Evansville. 1-2 the count for Justin Gomez. Sawyer has himself ready, kicks and delivers. Barely fouled back. Good work from Gomez to fight in this at-bat and keep himself alive. Those are hard pitches to foul away.
Oh, yeah. Well, like we say, 90 miles an hour, you better be quick with that bat.
Absolutely. Every batter's got to have a Zach Bierman-like bat to get base hits on Logan Sawyer. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Has himself ready on the bump. Fires home. Swinging, strike 3. And it is 2 up, 2 down. Down to their last out are the Slammers.
And that was a high outside fastball that he missed. And a former major league hitting coach once said to me is, for a high pitch at 90 miles an hour, you better have a strong arm, a strong bat to be quick, because that high pitch is one of the most difficult things to hit.
Leadoff man Tyler DePreta Johnson, who's 0 for 3 on the game, into the box here. First pitch, called strike 1 at the elbows. It's not happening tonight, but tomorrow and Thursday, both games, post-game fireworks here from Bosse Field, giving the Evansville faithful a little early 4th of July, I guess you could say.
Okay.
0-1 the count to DePreta Johnson. Pitch on the way. Called strike 2 at just above the knees.
And that was 95 mile an hour.
And it opens the playbook wide open for Sawyer. Up come the fans standing in here at Bosse Field. Sawyer looking to earn his 11th save of the year and close this one out. Nods in at his catcher, Felix. And the 0-2 on the way home. Sent back towards the netting, and DePreta Johnson will keep himself alive at least one more pitch.
Now, the All-Star team hasn't been, balloting hasn't been set yet, but even when it is set, it's the team, the coach or manager that's in first place. That's the manager of the All-Star game, right? So, therefore, they're the ones who decide what the pitchers are.
0-2 count to DePreta Johnson. Sawyer's ready on the bump, the 0-2.
Strike.
Oh, it just misses at the elbows.
That was a beautiful breaking pitch. It looked like a cut fastball.
The 1,924 in attendance tried to will that one into the zone. They'll have to wait at least one more. 1-2 the count to DePreta Johnson. Sawyer already ready on the bump. The 1-2. Lifted out towards right field. Chasing that way is Bierman in foul territory. Brings it in for the final out, and the Otters are going to win this one. 3-1 the final score. Logan Sawyer picks up another save, his 11th on the year, 35th of his career. And the Otters start off the three-game homestand in the perfect way. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we've got post-game stats and reaction. Otters win this one 3-1. We'll be right back.
And for the final time this evening, we're looking inside Bossy Field where the Evansville Otters have won this game 3-1. Let's walk you through how it happened in this one. The Otters got the lead in the fourth inning on a 2-run home run from Steven Sinsley, set the pace well. I don't think we can talk any further throughout the game without mentioning Justin Watland, really managing this game well, putting up 11 strikeouts, his season high, and for the first time this year, managing a game well front to back. Well, I thought he took 2 strikes and was in complete command all throughout the game, especially when he ran into some problems and he worked his way out with strikeouts. So he had complete control, and you got to give him a gold star for not only the win, but with the circumstances and the pressure that he was facing about, they needed to win this game.
And we've seen the Otters have struggles like that a lot of times this year. Having a situation where you've got a good lead, then you give up 2 quick walks in the next half inning. But to have a performance where a pitcher zooms through the next inning, one by one pitch, working through methodically, approaching it one batter at a time, just like Watland did tonight, ends up getting him a hard-earned victory. He really deserves that one.
He does, and the only problem the only help he had was when he had that double play with the bases loaded. And his teammates came to his rescue. But other than that, he did his own. He got himself in the jam, and he got himself out of the jam.
Well, the Otters get one more run in the 6th inning on a RBI double from J.R. Davis. That was all the scoring for the Otters. Then Joliet managed a run of their own in the 8th on a pass ball. A weird play there, a strikeout, drop third strike, gets all the way past Felix to the backstop. It's officially ruled a wild pitch, I believe, actually, is what it was called. But regardless, that's the way that the one run scores. To have a game where the only run against is an unearned run, another reason to be happy.
Yeah, I'm happy the Otters won, yes, because pressure is on the Otters. When the other team is behind you, Joliet. In other words, Washington's in first, the Evansville's on second, and Joliet's third. And the difference between those 2 teams is just a couple of games. So the Otters are facing a lot of pressure in this series.
And more importantly, Watland only gives up 1 hit. The Otters only give up 1 hit in the entire game. That's something that you've got to be proud of as well. Sawyer comes in, picks up his 11th save of the year, another one to be happy with. All around, with the way the road trip went, this is a great way to kick off the homestand, even if it's only a 3-game homestand.
Well, the chances are they're sleeping in their own beds and not in some hotel bed. And they probably got a good meal under their belt. And that's another great thing that playing at home playing at home gives you an advantage.
Well, before we sign off for the evening, I want to take one final look through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. Empire State gets their 2nd win of the season with a 3-2 win at New York. Tri-City gets a 6-3 win at Tri-Riviera. They just completed that game. New Jersey comes from behind and defeats Ottawa 5-4. Life could not get worse for the Titans right now. They have really struggled. Quebec and Sussex County went to a 10th inning, extra inning, and in the top of the 10th, Quebec now up 2-1. A couple games have gone final. Washington wins 2-1 against Florence. Schaumburg with a big 5-4 win at Lake Erie. The Boomers needed a win. Gateway and Windy City are tied at 1 in the 10th inning. And of course, the Otters win this one 3-1. A lot of low-scoring games against the Frontier League tonight. Kind of nice to see. But, like you mentioned, Otters are going to hold tight with that second place, at least for right now. And we'll see what they can do as they go for a series win tomorrow night. Trevor Sharpie will be on the mound for Joliet. Brett Adcock will be on the mound for the Otters. For all of us here at the Evansville Otters, he's Bill McEwen. I'm Matthew Rowe. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Otters Baseball, both here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. We'll talk to you tomorrow as the Slammers and Otters do battle once again. First pitch scheduled for 6:35 here from Bossy Field. Have a great night. God bless.